Hi folks, I figured I'd make a video a little better late than never. Chacala 2023. We went last year at spring break, March, and there wasn't a lot of information available on YouTube or anywhere really before we went, and it wasn't really quite what we expected, so I figured I'd make this video and maybe be more informative. So you take the Pacifico bus to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a town on the highway inland, and then you take a cab along this route here to Chacala. It's about a 10-15 minute ride, $10, something like that. I'm just going to let these videos roll by. I'll interrupt myself if there's anything super important to point out, but I'll just tell you my thoughts on the area. Yes, it's beautiful because it's the Mexican coast. You can't go wrong. It's small, so it's quite quiet when these guys weren't doing their thing. There's us on the rooftop of our That's us up on the rooftop of our hotel. The main thing I want to point out is that this place, it is small, but it is growing really quickly. As I understand it, it's the first coastal town from on a new highway from Guadalajara, so it is booming. And when we were there, there was tons of new construction, quite sort of luxurious private places. Not much in the way of small hotels being built, but I guess maybe, yeah, sure. But mostly a lot of building, looks like private rentals, things like that. So that's the bulk of this video. There again, the view from our hotel. And of course, it's beautiful. It's hilly, so some mobility issues there. You're going up and down the hill to get to the couple of restaurants. There's kind of a main street, but it's very small. It's like 2 blocks long, a couple hundred yards long kind of thing. Maybe one grocery store, one laundromat. This is probably La Laxtali, a famous cafe that is on the boardwalk, and I call it a boardwalk. It is not a Malecon. It's just a little sidewalk that goes from the beach around the corner up on the north end of town. The beaches were great. If you're totally into beaches, there you go. Not crowded. That's awesome. Of course, it's on the west coast, so the waves can be a bit much when they pick up. Drinks delicious, but again, all the pricing was pretty touristy pricing. There was no of those, like those little backstreet coffee shops, cafes, economicas, I think they call them. So we were a little disappointed by how the place was basically set up as a tourist hub. I know I'm a tourist, so I'm not really sure what I'm saying about that, but I've been to many places in Mexico where you're out and about with sort of some of the locals, and the prices are sort of halfway between a local price and a tourist price. So I've been to like Puerto Morelos and Colima and Valladolid, and gone through Cancun many times, even Rosarito Beach on the Baja. So this place is, like I say, just constantly building. I'm sure a lot of these places are finished now. We stayed at the Casa Chacala, which was very nice. I think it was probably back then about $50 US per night, which was reasonable. I'm sure it's higher now because I know the prices in Mexico have gone up crazy. Some of that is the exchange rate. Now this road here, that is fairly typical of most of the roads around there. The building is all being done by private property owners, and there's a lot of, like, that right there is a nice road. It's flat. There's a lot of bumpy roads, rocky roads. If you have mobility, wheelchair, forget it. Baby stroller, yeah, maybe if you're pretty athletic. Going up and down that hill was hard on some of the friends that we were with. Yeah, a couple of restaurants in town, but again, they're all based for, like there's a pizza place. I forget it was called Surfer Pizza. It was good. We enjoyed all of the food that we had. We just would have liked to have paid less for everything. And here we go, just more of the same here. So definitely a lot of the new building is crowding out some of the old stuff, so there is some leftover fishing village type stuff. Now there isn't really much of a harbor there either. There's a little beach area where some boats can come in and kind of dock on the sand. I think there is a little dock off to the side there as well. But this is not a kind of place where you can bring in a like not a cruise ship, forget it. But you probably couldn't even bring in like if you had a nice yacht, like a 50-foot yacht or something, a sailboat. Yeah, there's always people that park their sailboat out in the water and come in on their dinghy. But again, getting back to the pricing, they saw us coming. You know, we were at one of these beach places, and a friend of mine just randomly said, "Yeah, I'll have a dozen of those oysters." And I said, "Do you know how much they are?" And he said, "No." And I asked the guy because my Spanish isn't too terrible, and it turned they were gonna be like more than $1 per oyster. I think it was U.S. And he kind of, but he hadn't had one yet, so he gave them back because you think it's gonna be $5-6, something like that. Yeah. So going out for dinner there would be like going out for dinner at, not an expensive place in, Seattle or Vancouver or something like that. But it's not the old value. Now, this here is Las Varas. So that is not the centro of Chacala. Chacala doesn't really have one. This is downtown Las Varas. A great little side trip, for sure. And now we're back to Chacala. And just more building. There's again a view from our rooftop. Again, gorgeous, no complaints. The weather was great. There's that Lax Lee Cafe again. They have a breakfast buffet that was good. Very funky, unique decor in certain ways, including the iguana that fell from that tree, and then a dog chased it right up the street. So I've seen some of the other videos, and of course they talk about it's the Mexican paradise and all that sort of thing. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. I apologize. I didn't really want to get really heavily into production values. So that's it. Ciao.